Feiyu Pocket 3 wireless gimbal camera, the silent game changer solo creators needed. Most creators never talk about the shot they did not get. The one where the angle was perfect, the light was right, the moment was right there, and you had nowhere clean to put your camera. So you held it by hand, guessed the frame, and the footage came back shaky, slightly off-center, and completely unusable. That is the quiet tax on every shoot without a crew. Nobody ever warns you about it. The hidden cost is not time or money in any obvious way. It is the slow erosion of creative confidence, the gradual shrinking of what you even attempt because your gear keeps telling your imagination no. And eventually, somewhere underneath all of that accumulated frustration, you start wondering whether the real problem might actually be you. It is not. Not even close. Here is what quietly happens when your gear cannot keep up with your vision. First, you lose time. Hours rebuilding setups, reshooting angles that almost worked, scrubbing through footage that will never make the final cut, editing carefully around mistakes that simply should not have happened. Second, you lose money on shoots that did not deliver the brief, on clients who do not return the call, on opportunities that quietly required a crew you could not afford. Third, and this one lands somewhere far deeper and more personal, you lose energy, the kind that does not return after a good night of sleep. There is something uniquely suffocating about carrying a creative idea through an entire day and arriving home with footage that embarrasses you in the edit. You can feel it settle in your chest, that specific hollow weight of a completely wasted shoot. Your ambitions do not disappear overnight. They compress slowly, quietly, invisibly, until you stop pitching the bold ideas entirely and start playing it safe by default. But what if the bottleneck was never your talent, your budget, or your crew size at all? This is where the Feiyu Pocket 3 wireless detachable gimbal camera enters and everything changes. The core mechanism is simple enough to repeat to anyone. The camera head separates completely from the handle, connects wirelessly, and mounts magnetically to almost any surface, so you can film from anywhere while staying in full control from exactly where you need to be. Here is what that quietly unlocks in practice. 1. Smooth, stabilized 4K footage at 60 frames per second through a Sony 1.3-inch CMOS sensor and a 130-degree wide-angle lens. Clarity and motion quality that once required rigs worth several times the price. 2. AI face and object tracking that locks onto you instantly and follows every movement naturally, like a camera operator who never loses focus or asks for a break. 3. Built-in magnetic mounting that grips a car roof, a helmet, a bike frame, or any metallic surface cleanly and securely. Locations that were previously impossible suddenly become your most creative angles. 4. A detachable remote handle operating from up to 10 meters away, putting you behind the lens without physically being there. 5. Native slow motion at 1080p and 120 frames per second for moments worth stretching. 6. Breakpoint resume recording so no interruption ever costs you the take. I was reshooting the same walking sequence for over 40 minutes, alone, nothing stable enough, increasingly frustrated. I mounted the Feiyu Pocket 3 on a metal fence post, stepped back, and got it in one clean take. And yes, I tested this myself. Wait, you can just stick it to a car roof and walk away? That is actually allowed? Let me remove the last remaining doubt, calmly and completely. The immediate result? You stop losing shots. Within your first week, your creative range expands because your camera now reaches places you previously could not follow. Week by week, that compounds into a different kind of confidence, the kind that pitches ideas you used to quietly talk yourself out of. Long term, you build a body of work that looks like it had an entire team behind it. Cubed 3's industry review confirmed the Feiyu Pocket 3 records at 120 megabits per second in full 4K. with face and object tracking running without additional accessories or app dependency for core operation. Digital Camera World described daylight footage as detailed and sharp, and called the magnetic mounting system a genuine creative breakthrough, with no direct equivalent at this price. Verified buyer William Sung wrote publicly, "The stabilization makes my videos look professional, and I am not even close to that. The wireless control and battery life impressed me completely." Another verified user, DKH, mounted it on a vehicle hood for road footage remotely, describing it as a use case no traditional setup could replicate. I noticed this after 3 weeks. Every shot I was most proud of came from a position I physically could not have held a camera. The Feiyu Pocket 3 did not assist those shots. It made them possible in the first place. Which benefit lands hardest for you? Comment 1 for creative freedom, 2 for AI tracking, 3 for magnetic mounting. The Feiyu Pocket 3 wireless detachable gimbal camera gives you one thing no amount of skill or post-production can manufacture after the fact: the actual shot, captured smooth from angles that were previously completely out of reach, without a crew, without a heavy rig, and without creative compromise holding you back from the bold idea. Every day you wait is another shoot where that angle stays unavailable. Link in the description. First one pinned to the top. This is not gear you will regret buying. This is the gear you will regret not having had 2 years sooner. And the moment you click, some quiet part of you will already know exactly why.
For demo videos and current pricing, check the link in the description.